Okay, so I was saying, I hopefully everyone has successfully managed to install the necessary applications for Java, which is JGrasp and Java Development Kit, and it's now functioning on your laptop. So on our previous lesson, we have discussed about our simple Hello World program, which will simply display Hello World. So today we want to talk about the sensitivity of Java programming language. So when you are doing or when you are programming Java, we need to consider that, or we need to highlight one major issue, which is the sensitivity of programming language, Java programming language. So in this case, we have this Hello World program here on the screen, which I've displayed on the screen. So if you run this program, we have already wrote this program together. So basically here on import Java x.swing j option pen, we are basically importing libraries which enables us to display a dialog or a different screen with the name Hello World. So here we are basically importing. So after importing, we have, like we said before, Java programming, everything is within classes. So we have to indicate firstly to highlight our class, which is public hello class, which hello meaning our program is called hello. So if you check very well, you have to save also your program as what? As the name of your class, right? So let's take example. If we delete or we name this differently, and we say hello world here, it will not run. So mostly when you're answering your question or your exam, you'll be given this scenario saying, may you please, what's the error message? May you please highlight the error message? So that way the issue of sensitivity, case sensitivity come into place. So let's try to run this and see if it runs. You see here, it will display the error message here. So class hello world, meaning to say it's not matching here. So you need to save your program as hello world, meaning to say it's very case sensitive. So in other words, we are saying hello world should be the same as the name of our file .java. So we need to take that into consideration again. And if we rectify that, and here we put J option, this is capital letter O. And if we put capital letter, small cap O, and try to run our program, let us try to run it and see if we can receive. You see here, it says public class, there's still an error here. And also J option. So meaning to say, Java treats caps and small caps as two different things, right? If we have J option in small caps and J option in capital letter, it treats it differently. So in the case where you are given in an exam room, try to debug this program. You need to take into consideration what's the name of your saved program, and also the case sensitivity. Again, let us try to remove this semicolon and put a comma and try to run it again. Let us rectify here and rectify this option. You see here, it's not running again. Why? Because there is no semicolon, which means the semicolon means terminate or run the previous line. So here, because we have put only the comma, the program will not run. So guys, when we are moving on to our next lesson, we need to take this seriously test sensitivity of programming, Java programming language. If you have any question right now about our previous lesson or any challenges when you try to install this application, the JGrasp or the Java development kit, kindly highlight it in the group so that we can help each other before we move on our next page lesson, which is on Tuesday next week. Okay, I hope we have no questions. So, Mr. Kuda, I think you can take over for your analytical technique lesson. Thank you guys for your time.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tino. I don't know if there are, okay. I don't think there are any questions because I want to believe if you had any, you would have asked. But thank you. Thank you so much. So today we're just also going to have, it's not going to be a long lecture because we don't want you guys, to be, to have your brain saturated, right? So I'm just going to do something a little bit brief because remember, this is also a free lecture, right? So next week, that's when we're going to start with paid lectures. So today, I'm just going to do a little bit of a short session on what we call index numbers. All right. So let me share the screen. Just kindly confirm if you can see the screen. All right. So, okay. So we're just going to talk briefly about what we call index numbers, and then we're just going to do an example, and then that will be it for today. All right. And then next week, for those that would have paid, then we'll continue from where we did left from, right? Okay, so let's start by defining what an index number is, right? So an index number is a relative figure expressed as a percentage, which is used to measure how much an economic variable changes over time and differs between two locations. So like this index, the numbers, you already know it, right? Especially when you are into stock market, right? There are some indices that they talk about, right? So these indices or index numbers, they are a measure of how much an economic variable changes over time or over two locations. So it is often used in economics to measure trends, maybe for example, stock market prices, cost of living, imports, and so forth, right? So it is a summary, right, measure of the change in activity of an item or a collection of items from one time period to another. So what you need to understand is it's more like a comparison. Yeah, right. You are comparing a certain item in relation to two different time periods, right? So obviously, you must have what is called the current period and obviously what we call the best period. So when you are calculating these price indices, when you're doing the comparison, you can do it in two major categories, right? You can do it in terms of price from two different periods, or you can do it in terms of quantity in two different periods. So what you need to understand is the best period, because remember you're comparing it in comparison with two different time periods. So there has to be a best period, which is the time to which the comparison is being made from, right? So generally, in a general sense, when we're talking about an index number, we are talking, this is the general formula, right? Where you say index number is equals to current period value over base period value. Because you are comparing, right, either the price or the quantity between two periods, right? So general, that is the general formula. So when it comes to price index, the price index, it measures the percentage change in price between two periods. So when you're talking about the price index, is the change of price between those two periods, right? So the general formula will be like price relative will be price one over price naught. So price one will be the price in the current period, and price naught or price zero will be the price in base period. All right. So the same with quantity, right? So this index measures the percentage change in consumption level of individual items or basket of items from one time period to another. So if you are calculating quantity relative, it will be Q1 over Q naught, right? Where Q1 denotes the quantity in the current period and Q naught denotes the quantity in the base period. All right. So now, normally when you are doing this in your study module, right? When you are calculating the index, you use what is called the composite index, right? Where you are combining both the price and the quantity. So that's why it's quite composite. When you're talking about composite, we talk about what do you call it? Combining, right? Two different things. So the two well-known or commonly used composite indices, there's what we call last per race index and what we call past share index, right? But the most commonly used there is the last per race. That's the one that we're going to look at today. So generally, when you're talking at last per race, right, you are going to hold the quantities in that equation constant, and they are held constant at the base period. So what am I trying to say? So we have this formula. We have this formula there, right? Where you're saying last per race, you're saying the summation of price in current period multiplied by quantity of the base period, right? Over the summation of the price of the base period multiplied by the quantity of the base period. So can you see that the Q's there, they're the same? On the numerator, the Q is 0. On the denominator, the Q is 0. So you are holding the what? The quantity constant, while the prices are changing. Can you see? Right? So the prices are changing, P1 and P0. Right? So this is the last per race index, right? So this is the last per race for price index, because the price is the one that is being changed, that is changing, while the quantity is held constant. When you're calculating last per race quantity index, what happens now is the price is held constant, which means that here it will be P0 over P0, but here it will be Q1 over Q0. All right. So now let's look at it. Let's look at oh my goodness. Okay. Let's look at an example. Right? So let me share what do you call it? Let's do it on Excel sheet so that you can appreciate. You can appreciate. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, just give me a moment. I'm just trying to. All right. Okay. So just confirm if you can see the, if you are not seeing an Excel sheet, just tell me, right? You're supposed to be seeing an Excel sheet there. All right. So this is share, right? So this is A and B and C, and then we can say total, right? All right. So what happens here is we have to merge and center there. We're talking about the base period, right? The base period, right? And then this is the current period, right? The current period. So obviously, when we're talking about the base, we have we have price. So that price, we call it price 0, right? Then we've got our quantity, right? And the quantity for the base period is 0 again, right? Then the price for the current period is what? Is 1, right? And then the quantity there is 1. All right. So from the information that we are given is there in the study guide, right? You can just go and check there. Okay, 250 and 52. Okay, then P1, that's 120, that's 122, that's 1900. All right, that's 305, 72, 102. All right. So normally when they give you this stuff, right? They just give you what I've written so far, right? So they just give you what like here the shares and the information, the price for the best period, quantity for the best period, then price for the current period, and then quantity for the current period also. But now for you to be able to calculate it, because remember, the question will be calculate the last parade price index and the last parade quantity index, right? So now what you need to do here is you need to create 3 more columns, right? So the first column, you are saying price not, right? Then you are multiplying, okay. Then you are multiplying it with quantity for the base period. Okay. Then here you've got price for the current period. Price for the quantity period or for the base period multiplied by quantity at the base period. All right. Then here you've got price. So you just need to know that these columns you will see where it will come in handy, right? You will see where it comes in handy. All right. Okay. 1. All right. So this column, basically what we are saying is we are multiplying the price of the base period and the quantity of the base period. In this column, we are multiplying the price of the current period and the quantity of the base period. In this column, we are multiplying the price of the base period and the quantity of the current period, right? So here you say equals, so it will be P naught multiplied by the Q naught, right? And then you drag through here. That's Excel basics, right? And then here you say P1, which is this one, multiplied by Q naught, which is that one, right? And then you drag through again. Excel will automate for you. That's why I like using Excel, right? Rather than doing it manually on Microsoft Word, right? So it's P naught multiplied by Q1. Then you drag again. Then you have to find the summations of these 3 columns. So the reason why we created these columns is to get these summations. Right, perfect. So when you are done with this, you have to copy it, right? Let me share the Word document. Just give me a moment. All right. Okay, perfect. Let's see. All right. Okay, so the question is calculate all right. So you want to calculate the last Paris price and quantity index. So let's first calculate the last Paris price index, right? So this is how we calculate it, right? So let's call it LPI so that we don't keep repeating the same word over and over. So from the study guide, you can see that it is the summation, right, of what? So last Paris price index is the prices that are changing while the quantity is being held constant, right? So obviously, in this case, we will have P1, right, multiplied. Okay, where's my? All right, multiplied by Q naught. Oh my goodness, you're supposed to put multiplication sign there. Okay. Okay, so here. So obviously, since price is changing, so the price on the denominator there has to be of the best price, of the best period, right? Then the quantity there, it still has to be the same because we are holding the quantity the same, right? And then we have to multiply by 100% there. So obviously, using my calc, so okay. Okay, so so summation, so what is P? We have to find this column for P1 by Q naught. P1 by Q naught is this one, right? But we want the summation. We have to add everything in this column. So when we add everything in this column, we get this value here. So that's the value that you want. You come, you copy it. That's why I was saying creating the table comes in handy, right? You just copy and paste values there. All right, that's all. And then summation, summation of P naught by Q naught. We have to look for this value here, right? P naught by Q naught, right? Okay. So we have to multiply by 100 there, right? Okay. We multiply by 100. So 172,740 divided by 142,400 multiplied by 100, you get 121. So it will be 121.31%. So how do you interpret this? What does it mean? So what you need to understand is when you are dealing with indices or index numbers, right? In short, if a value is greater than 100, like in this case, it's 121. So what you do is you say 121, okay, let me write it. You say 100%, right? Minus 121.31%, which gives you 21.31%. So you can see that it has surpassed the 100% threshold by 21%. So it means that there's been an increase. So this means that the value, you are looking at the price, right? The value or the price of the shares increased by 21.31%. Right? So this means that the value or the price of the shares increased, because remember, it's greater than 100. So what you need to understand is if it is greater than 100, you subtract 100. The remainder there will be the increase. If it is less than 100, you subtract it from 100, the value there will be the decrease. Like in this case, maybe if it was, let's say it was maybe 78, right? We're going to say 100 minus 78, and then you get what? 22. So we'll say this means that the value of the price of the shares decreased by a value of 22. So basically, that's how you approach it, right? So we are done with last price index. Let's look at last per race. Okay. Quantity index, right? So this one we'll call it LQI, right? LQI, right? Okay. We say summation. All right. Okay, let me not repeat this. This is just repetition, right? Okay. All right, so the prices are going to be the same. The quantities are the ones that are going to be different. All right, so 100% then equals to, all right. So we have to look for this column P naught by Q1. P naught by Q1 is this one. When we add everything, we get this value, right? That's the one that we copy. We paste. And then we say this one obviously is the same. It doesn't change, right? We find it here, P naught by Q naught. We add everything, we get this value, right? We multiply by 100, right? So 166,454 over 142,400. When you multiply it by 100, then you get 116. So that will be 116.89%. So obviously, this means that the number of units, okay, I guess maybe is that a question? Oh, yes. This is the analytic technique class. So what we did is there was supposed to be like Mr. Tino, the one who's taking you for, I think, is it informatics, the one for programming for Java, right? So he just wanted to finish something that he didn't manage to finish last week, right? So we just gave him the first 15 minutes. And then after he was done, that's when I took over, right? Remember, this is a free lecture. The full lectures, we're going to start, the paid lectures, we're going to start them next week. So that's when I took over from Mr. Tino after he was done, right? Explaining what he wanted to explain for you guys in terms of Java programming language. All right. So, so don't worry, remember this is being recorded, right? So James will send you the link. So you just see like on the part that you have already missed. So don't worry, right? It's the session is being recorded. You can just go and check later on if you want to check something, right? So this means that the number of units, right? Number of units of the shares, right, have increased with not with by 16.89%. All right. So guys, you can see that this is, when it comes to index numbers, this is very, 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 very easy, right? The concept that you need to understand is you can't attempt answering these questions without making this, what do you call it? This table, right? So I want you to see this. This is let me share something. Excuse me. Let me share something so that you can see an example of a question that can be asked related to index numbers, right? So this is actually a question from an assignment, right? Past assignment. We're not going to do this today, right? Because I already showed you how to do it, right? We're not going to do this today, but I just wanted to show you that when they give you, this is how they give you, right? So they'll give you the item, then this will be the best, the price for the best period, the quantity for the best period, right? Then the price for the current period and the quantity for the of the current period. Then you have to create 3 columns, right? P naught by Q naught, right? P naught by Q1, right? And P1 by Q naught, right? So that it will help you, because remember, like here they are saying now using 2017 as a base year, then calculate the last Paris price index and the last Paris quantity index. Like I said, I'm not going to repeat this. This is, we just did an example, right? We just did an example related to that here. So there is need for you guys to create these 3 columns. When you create these 3 columns, right, these are the summations. These are the ones that you then use here. Those are the ones that you use when they're saying summation of P1 by Q naught. This is P1 by Q naught, right? You add this. Summation of P naught by Q naught is this. So you take these summations, these numbers, you divide, you multiply by 100, and then you get the value. The value, if it is greater than 100, you subtract. The value that you get there, that will be the increase, right? Either of the price or of the quantity, depending on whatever you'll be calculating at that moment. It still applies, right? Even if it's quantity, even if here at quantity, if it was less than 100, right? We are going to say 100 minus that value, and that value will be the decrease, right? So you need to understand how these things are really done, and I tried my best to really explain so that you guys, you can really understand how it's really done. So I'm not so sure, before we end this session, if there are any question, or even the questions related to maybe if someone didn't get the clarity of maybe the payments and so forth, right? I see that yes, Jones, you can go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to understand, is right, because I'm a bit confused now, because this is my first time joining the analytical techniques class. So is this now the question session, or so that means like the lecture sessions as for the unit guides and all those things are done, and now you are asking us based on the list of questions, or is this still part of like the lecture sessions as a whole?
Oh, okay. So you said this is your first time. So what we did is we did free lectures for analytical techniques. I think for all the courses that you are having, right? Because I think the other, like Mr. Tino, he was doing it for the module that is Java programming. So what we were doing is there are what we call free lectures, right? Free lectures. This one is a free lecture. We haven't even started as yet with the main lectures, so don't even worry, right? Some of these things we're going to repeat them when we start the main lectures, the paid lectures, right? So what we did is we wanted you guys to have an idea of how we conduct our lectures, right? Before you pay, so that you can have an idea or this is the way that, you know, a VUT tutors do or conduct their lectures, right? So this one, what we're doing, this is a paid lecture. Sorry, this is a free lecture, right? Anyone who was interested, without even paying, you were allowed to come in and see, right, what we are going to present to you. So whatever we presented is stuff from the study guide, right? We're using stuff from the study guide. The first lecture, we actually used an example, an assignment, right? Last week, I think I went into some slides a bit, and today I also went into some slides a little bit, but we are going to repeat some of these things when we start the paid lectures, because we just wanted you to have an idea. So the reason why you think it's more like some questions is because we were actually doing an example. It's actually an example in your study guide. So remember, analytical techniques is it's statistics. It's a practical course, right? So I really need to show you where the calculations come from. If it is an example from your study module, I will repeat that, so that you guys, you can really grasp, you know, the concept, right? The way, the steps that you have to go through for you to get the correct answer. So this was an example of how you would attempt an example, right? If you check, you will see that there's an example in your study guide, which is like this. The answers that I got here are similar to the ones that are in your study module. So just to answer you, this is just a free lecture. The paid lectures are going to start next week. So since you already asked that one, let me just also tell you some things that you need to know. So it is 800 Rand, right? The lectures are 800 Rand per semester, right? And from next week, that's when we only allow people that have paid to come through, right? And that 800 is payable in installments of 3 to 4 months, right? If you need any banking details, I think all of you guys, you are in a group where you were getting the link to get into this chat room, right? So if you go up, I think you get the banking details in the group. If you came in a little bit later, you can just send a message in the group. Our admin guys will attend to you and send those banking details again. Then this 800, you need to understand that it also includes all the assignment, right? The written assignment, the one that for 30 marks, and then the 2 KCQs also, they are included, right? And then just before you write the OSA, the online assessment, right? We will do what is called an exam preparation. So that is the package for the 800 Rand per semester per subject. So remember, it's not 800 for all of them, it's per subject. I want to believe that you're doing maybe 4 of them, so it will be 800 per subject for the whole of the semester. All right, so I hope I answered you correctly, Mr. Jones. If you still have any question, just feel free, and then I will try to clarify it again. Okay, well, thank you so much. I see that there's another, let me see, another question. Where is this on the study guide page number? All right, let me try to quickly, just give me a moment. Let me just try to quickly open the study guide so that I'll show you, right? It's, okay, that's here one, right? Okay, so let me show you. Okay, I've opened the study guide right now. Let me share. So let me share so that we'll okay. All right, so this is the study guide, right? For analytical techniques, right? So I was doing index numbers. Where is it? Where's the index numbers? Let's see. Presentation of data management. Okay, I think they should be in probability distribution functions there, right? Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one, let me see. I think this is a different example, right? But this is the section where you have the index numbers. So when we start, I think when we start the paid lectures, we're going to do this one. We're going to do this example that is there, because the concept is still the same, right? Because remember, we're talking about the last price quantity index and then the price index as well, right? So the way that you do is the same. Price, P naught, they only left here, they only left the zeros there and the ones there. So this will be P0, Q0, P1, Q1, right? And then these are your shares, right? And then these are your what? These are your what do you call it? These are your price for base year, quantity for base year, price for what? For current year, and quantity for current year, right? So this is what we're covering today, right? So like I said, remember today it was just a free lecture, right? Some of these things we are going to go through it again in the paid lectures. So don't even worry if you didn't catch some of these things, right? Last week, I think we're doing management. Let me see. I think we're doing management statistics, right? When we were doing this is, the cumulative frequency, the types of bars and charts, when we're doing this, Josh made David the pie chart, and all right, and I showed you about the Ogive cave. I think we stopped here, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think we stopped. Okay, I think we did some calculation of the mean, right, for ungrouped data, and then the mode and the median, right? Yes. So when we go deeper now into the paid lectures, we're going to show you how to also calculate, mean for grouped data. All right. So I'll not go deeper, because, like I said, some of these things, it's page 8. Yes. Is it page 8? Let me just. I think it was page 80, but I showed you. All right. So that's fine. So like I said, everything that we're going to cover, it will be in your study module, right? Sometimes we may take examples from the study module, right? Sometimes we may not, but everything that we will teach you in this course, it is there in your study module, right? There's no reason for us to try to explain to you things that are not there in the study module, because it will not help you. Mancosa is a very unique university. They only ask you stuff that is within your study module, right? So we have to stick with the study module. So guys, thank you so much. I'm also sure if there is anyone with another question before we close this session. So for those that came in a little bit late, who just came in and I was in the middle of explaining whatever I was explaining, what happened, I think you saw a post in the, unfortunately we're not there in the groups, but I think there was a post that was posted there where you were told that there was going to be a lesson, right, for informatics. I think your lecturer, your tutor, wanted just to clarify on certain concepts before you could hand over the lecture to me. So we gave him around 15 minutes, and then he polished up 1 or 2 stuffs, right? And then now that's when I took over, right? So I took over, and then I started to explain regarding today's free lecture, right? What we're going to cover. So for those that came a little bit late, don't worry. We have recorded the session. When the link is sent to the group, you can just go back. It's not anything complicated. Once you just go through the video, you understand. We try to make things as plain as possible so that even for those that are meeting statistics for the first time, they can understand. So don't even worry that you might have lost, a lot of information. The recording is there. The link will be sent in the group. So thank you very much. This is the last what do you call it? The last free lecture. Next week we'll be continuing with those that would have paid. So before we close the session, any more questions? I'm seeing Charity M has posted something. As I'm seeing Charity just posted something on the chat there. All right. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. Let's meet next week with those that would have paid, and then we'll continue with the slide. Have a pleasant evening.